country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on them drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller. How about the range, whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange, whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. There's no comparison, black in America, a little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send him my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Dropped an investment in Silicon Valley. All of this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they break in the chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors that labels as testing. How about the range? Whoa. Hey, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be This is that one song that you heard so many times, and every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
East Coast with the gang. West Coast with the gang. Love with the gang. You know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang. West Coast with the gang. Love with the gang.
Swole enormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Test. Testing. Is this mic on? Testing. Testicles. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1188 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining live on the YouTube channel at Daily Swole Podcast. What up, YouTube peeps? What's going on? Thank you, Pops. Thanks, Daddy-O. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you, everyone. 36 years of yoked of Swole. Yes, happy birthday. Okay, I'll accept it. I'll accept the birthdays. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, all right. Thank you. Yes. It's another day. It's another day to make some gains, and I am on my way after this podcast to make some of those gains. Absolutely. Let's see. Let's check in. Is anyone else wishing Daddy a happy birthday? Anyone else? Let's see the Papa Swolio cam. Oh, look at you. Look at you sleeping. Like, put your head down when you sleep. Baby girl. Yes, you're a good girl, mama. You're a good girl. Yeah. If you want the Papa Swolio cam, you got to go watch on YouTube. So those of you that are on Instagram, what's going on, IG peeps? I see you, baby. I see you over there. So those of you who are on Instagram, remember, if you want notifications, go on YouTube, subscribe to the Daily Swole Podcast channel. On YouTube, you will get your notificaciones. You'll get them right away. So welcome to everyone that's joining. And if you want the Papa Swolio cam, you come and check out YouTube, because then you get the little sexy beesh. Look at the sexy beesh. Yes, you're such a good girl. Such a good girl for Daddy. Yeah. So what's up, beeshes? Welcome to 1188. Thank you for being here. Thanks for checking out the podcast. Thanks for being in the realm. If you are new to the podcast, if it's your first time, drop in the comments below. First time, any virgin swoles? Anyone? Any first timers here? Any first timers on the fucking podcast? Reminder that all of you, if you want to listen, you can go to swolenormousx.com and see the links. It's available everywhere. And of course, you can catch the live streams on Daily Swole Podcast. First time. Thank you. All right. Welcome, Megan. Any other first timers here on YouTube? Let's see. Tree Hugger, happy birthday. Thank you. Jesse B, thank you. Joe, Madeline Crawford, doing anything fun for your birthday? I'm going to go do some glutes. Going to do a little bit of some legs, stay on track with my shit, and get some sushi. I'm going to have some sushi tonight. So wish me well. I hope it's good. It's a really good place locally. That's really delicious. So that's almost as far as my type of cheats go. That's like cheating for me. People are like, oh, sushi, I eat that for my health food. That's outside my norm. So sushi's kind of like candy. Sushi's kind of like candy, but I like a lot of the raw fish. I like the sashimi a lot. So I'm not necessarily going to be eating bowls of rice, but I like the raw fish. I just like food. Who doesn't like food? That's why most people work out. I work out so I can eat. That's why I work out. I exercise so I can eat. I like to binge eat. I like to go to buffets, right? So that's why I train. I train so I can eat. But sushi's fire. I love sushi. I love fish. I love things that are just in their natural state. So, hey, what's up, Oz? I look like I'm 3D. I do look like I'm 3D because I got I'm the tech overlord. I'm the podcasting tech overlord. I got this shit organized now. It's crazy. It's crazy how far this podcast has come. We could talk about that for a second. The topic today, and this is not me stroking my own. I'm not trying to sit here and jerk off in front of you because I'm not one for birthdays, but I talk about it and I mentioned it. So now everyone's wishing happy birthday. So we're just going to talk about maybe me, and we're going to talk about my approach that I've been talking about for the last couple days with yoga, with training, what I look for, what I'm looking towards to do, and how far everything has come. We can talk about the podcast. It just kind of popped up. It's come a long way. A lot of you are just finding me now, which is great. But obviously we've been here for a hot minute. Episode 1188. That's a lot of days. That's a lot of podcasts. That's a lot of beard. That's a lot of beard, fam. That's a lot of shit. Woof. We cover a lot. Papa Swole in a birthday suit. I am wearing shorts. You can't see it on the Papa Swole cam. I thought about making this the nut cam or the taint cam. So like you just get an undershot of my ball sack. But I figured I'd probably get kicked off the internets. If I went to a ball cam. So I decided to go Papa Swole cam. And at least that's kind of like PG. It's a little Disney. So if you don't like my face, at least you can get the dog once in a while. I deserve to talk about me. I think I talk about myself a lot, but my experiences, I got to give context. The only experience I have is through my own eyes. That's the only experience I do have. So I kind of have to talk about myself, at least with context. So I don't know who you are. I don't know everything about you, but I try. I try to relate my experiences. That's really all we have. We have education. That's an interesting thing. I had this conversation the other day about going to college, about formal education, about learning from a book, getting certifications. We've talked about that before here too on the podcast, how much of a difference it makes from going from like school or getting a certification, how much that matters in terms of you being, I guess, effective in your career. How much does a certification mean in terms of your ability to be a personal trainer? Does having a PhD, does having a top certification, does that make all the difference? Is that super important? How important is it? There are a lot of issues with certifications. There are a lot of issues with getting just a piece of paper and then talking like you know everything. So it's really important to discuss things from experience, because experience, that's your real world education. So me being in the gym for about 20 years, doing it myself, trying different training splits, doing different exercises, pushing to failure, training in all these ways in which I discuss here and inside Swolenormous X and just everywhere on my content, it's personal experience. It's not everything I talk about. Rarely is it from a book. Rarely is it from something that I read. It is, but it's also something that maybe I read, that I applied, that I agree with, so I pass it along. I usually don't spew shit that I haven't done myself, that I haven't personally experienced. So, for example, when it comes to, I don't know, this just popped into my head. When those of you that ask about doing the sauna, like, is the sauna something that I should be doing after a workout or later on? I say, well, I love doing hot. I love doing a sauna. I love doing hot yoga, but I don't have a lot of experience or any really with, I take cold showers now and again, but I don't have a lot of experience with cryotherapy or with ice baths. But doesn't mean it doesn't work, but I don't talk outside my experience. If I haven't had personal experience that I can attest to, like, this is valuable, I recommend that for you, I'm not going to spew. I'm not going to vomit just what I read or listen to on a podcast. I'm not just going to spread it around if I don't have personal experience. So it's important to take experience is so much more valuable than what you read. And what you read should be applied in personal experience or an application. That way you can get the actual real world feedback for how it actually works in your life. Zach Laycock, good name. Some Laycock, brother. Ooh, lay that cock, dude. Lay it down. Zach Laycock, what a fucking name, dude. Tell me you haven't been swinging that name around your entire life. Come on, especially I had to get a degree in nursing to become a nurse, especially if you go to nursing school and you got a name like Laycock. Yeah, laying the cock. But 99% of what I learned after school. Yeah, it's the context. You're not taking all those scientific studies and all that lab work into the real world. It's the same thing with personal training. It's the same thing with anything that you do. There's stuff that you learn and there's stuff that actually can get applied in real life. A lot of these certifications have no application. Even top training certifications, top personal training certifications, oftentimes the content within those certifications it does not have application. It does not have the application in terms of how a trainer would actually utilize that with a client. It's just not applicable. Most of the content is just not something that you will implement. It's not something that will keep a client. It's not something that will excite a client. It's not something that will get them optimal results. It's not designed for the standard gym setting. It's a lot of it is just very over the top and excessive, and it's not applicable to real world experience. And that's something that I noticed from teaching the certifications to trainers to certify them for their careers and being in the field myself. I was like cross-checking this. I'm like, these things don't add up. Why are we teaching this stuff when that's not really what they would need in the real world? So I take my mashup of experience from really all aspects of personal training in the industry, from teaching certifications to going nationwide, seeing it from a media standpoint in terms of P90X and those types of productions and that type of online distribution, that type of, multi-level company. When I was doing certifications for them and teaching those around the country, and also for NASM and teaching and preparing personal trainers for their certifications, for their exam preparation, doing hands-on lab work for 6, 8, 9 months, preparing them for real world, training their clients. So I know like the discrepancy and the disconnect between the material that you read and that you would pass on a test to get a piece of paper and actually what you'll use in the gym, or what you should be taught, or how you will actually create a business and actually facilitate and get results, because what you read in the book is not exactly how you can execute on it. It's just not how it works. It's not optimal. And it slows people down. I know as much as it can get people business, it will lose people business, because most people don't ask about certifications. When you go to a doctor, you don't ask, where'd you go to school? Oh, you didn't go to school over here? Well, I'm not going to go to you anymore. No one asks your certification. From all the degrees and certifications I've held over my career, maybe 2 or 3 times someone's asked. 2 or 3 times. Like, why do I have these certifications? A gym might ask, but they don't really care. A client might ask, but they don't really know. They just want to hear you answer something. Most people don't care. To get insurance, okay, you need a certification, X, Y, and Z, but most people do not fucking care. Most people don't ask. And if they do ask, they wouldn't know if you gave a good answer, because they don't know all the different certifications, because there's so many of them. There's so many different ones. So it's the experience that makes the difference. It's your experience. It's actually taking information and trying it. So the stuff we talk about here on the podcast, if you don't try it, that's why a lot of times when you ask me a question on Instagram or here, I say, well, try it. Let me know. Do you like it? I know my thoughts, but just because I had a bad experience with, or I didn't like carb cycling, doesn't mean you won't love carb cycling and it won't be the best thing in the world for you and you'll have great results and it's your favorite thing. Oh my goodness, I'm so fucking glad I found carb cycling. My alarms are going off. Let me just make sure those are all off. So that carb cycling might be the most wonderful thing in the world for you. You might love carb cycling. That might be your shit. You might love that more than anything. Doesn't mean that I have to. So just because it didn't work out well for me and I don't prefer it, doesn't mean it won't work out well for you. So, it's experience. It's experience, and it's applying that experience and reapplying it and learning and adjusting. It's not just a hard education. Information's only so valuable So what you learn here on the podcast, I talk about meditation. I talk about yoga. I talk about getting started. I talk about mobility. I talk about active recovery. If you just listen and move on from episode to episode, but you don't actually apply any of it, then it's not really good information, is it? Or it's good information, but it's only going to help you if you put it into practice and you try it. If you don't try it, then you're not going to get results. Yeah, I appreciate the likes, man. Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks for rallying everyone up. Those of you that watch on YouTube, it does make a difference when you hit the like button. When you do hit the like button, when a video gets a certain amount of likes in a certain period of time, it does help the distribution and the comments and stuff like that. So whenever you share, tag, hit the like button on YouTube, it does make a big difference. So thank you. What's up, Adam? What's up, Papa? How's the recovery-focused training treating you? It's great. For those of you that are new to the podcast, again, drop in the comments if you are new to the podcast. Lately, I've been talking about how I am prioritizing all my training around yoga. It's around recovery. However, I'm still crushing it. I had a great workout yesterday. I'm going to have a great workout today. Today, I'm not doing yoga just because of I was up super late last night, so got a later start today. And because we're doing sushi and kind of like going to chill for a little bit, take a little bit of like a reprieve. I got some other things I'm going to do structurally for some content and stuff like that. But I'm not doing a double today. I'm not doing yoga. I did a double on Monday. I did hot yoga last night. So I really recently upped my yoga game and my yoga practice in conjunction with my frequency of resistance training. So now I'm taking one day off from the yoga, just doing some glute stuff, not doing a lot of knee focus, not doing a lot of squats and shit like that. But I'm really kind of taking today as like a little bit of like a breath, allowing my body to adapt a little bit to all the muscles that have been getting a lot of extra work lately. And then tomorrow I'm right back into it. So it's fantastic. KA, heard good things about this podcast. Where'd you hear that from? Yeah. So far I'm enjoying it. Why, thank you. Hope you're enjoying the Papa Swole cam. What's up, mama? Baby girl. Yeah. It's your boy. Hello, puppy pets. Puppy pets. Yeah, good girl. How awesome is this Papa Swole cam? How fucking awesome is that? Look at there. Look at that sexy face. Look at that sexy beesh. Fucking sexy beesh. God damn, you're sexy. God, you're hot. So, Megan Rose, would I ever consider diving into politics on YouTube? Not on the podcast per se. I've thought about doing like a news thing. I just don't like to follow the news. It's so negative and it's all just kind of like the same shit. But I do view my opinions a lot here on the podcast. I'm fine talking about it, but I usually try to keep that kind of stuff out of it as long as it's contextual to fitness. But I've considered doing some other type of content on a different channel or different stuff. So, I don't really want to get into politics. I don't know. I just have my opinions about things. I don't necessarily care about the squabblings and the high school gossipy nature. Shit doesn't get done. It's fucking broken fundamentally. So, I don't know. I try to avoid politics because people just get so butthurt, but I don't like the whole two-party structure system. Personally, I think that you need to have your own method of thinking, and if you follow politics, it poisons your brain because it puts you into this left or right category when you can have an individual opinion about each issue. So I think that's what's really the issue there. Like, I like to have my opinions on individual issues. I don't want to think about it as some umbrella thing where if I'm one party, I believe in all these things straight down the line, straight down the list. I think that lacks fundamental intelligence and critical thinking. Can I rev up Papa? It kind of. She goes like, she bites and she's not the same kind. She's kind of like, just like gnaws if I like squeeze her. Dan Mickle. I recently had to delete all the news channels I had on Facebook because it was impacting my mental health. Well, it's all shock value. It's trying to get you, it's headline. They're trying to jack you up with a headline. This many people dead, this many people this many people that. It's a lot of stuff. There's enough to talk about with fitness. If it comes up, I mean, politics and social issues like fat acceptance and like gender, all this kind of stuff, all this, it's very similar in its respect, but it's very easy to make it political when it's not political. It's not political when we talk about fat acceptance and healthy at every size. It's easy to make it like a left-wing issue, like a social justice issue, but that's what they're trying to do. So it gives it more credibility. They're trying to attach, and when I say they, people that are members of that, they're trying to attach fat acceptance with white privilege. They're trying to attach this all-accepting nature with fat. They're trying to attach fat acceptance and these things into or onto those types of other issues. Like if you attach it to a gender issue, oh, we can't talk about gender, so it kind of gives a blanket protection and like a force field around fat acceptance. Like, fuck that shit. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. So that's what bothers me when you try to shroud fat acceptance, you try to shroud healthy at every size with a political issue to give it more clout, to give it more protection. And that's an issue that I take, but that's directly related to fitness. That's directly related to, you know, what I like to talk about here on the podcast. So it depends. It depends. I'm open to adjusting and developing, and I will, if I want to talk about something, I will. If I want to talk about something in the news, I will talk about something in the news. So the Daily Swole is literally whatever I want to talk about. It's Swolenormous. The Daily Swole doesn't mean it has to be about fitness. This is my daily podcast. However, there just aren't a lot of worthy topics to bring up here. Like, we need to talk about things that are really going to impact your life today. That's why yoga and meditation and your mental health, that's why this podcast can be so powerful, because if you're fixing and improving what you're thinking now, it changes your outlook and your perspective on all those fucking things that you can't control. That's what the news is. It's a list of things that you can't fucking control. It's a list of things that you can control. You can't control what other people do. Unfortunately, in many cases, you cannot control what other people do. You can control how you perceive those things. You can control the decisions that you make. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. That's right. Well, she was on the podcast 1182, and she'll be back on again. I want to set up another individual one-on-one podcast with Michelle again. Thank you, KA. So she was saying good things about me in a few videos and mentioned check out my podcast. Thanks. Thanks, Michelle. Love you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Thanks for coming and checking out my podcast. What's up, Christian? I'm happy I'm able to find this channel. Because of this channel, I was able to find other channels that take the BS out of fitness. Happy birthday, Papa Swolio. Thanks, Christian. Let's take a question. Curtis Wolf, new here, but I like what I've seen so far. Damn straight. You like the beard? You're sold. You're sold. You're here. You're in it to win it. I've lost 65 pounds since March. Holy shit. That's 4 or 5 months. That's a massive amount of weight. I'm 5'8", 195, lots of muscle. I'm fucking yoked. My goal is being more fit. What does that mean? Should I continue to focus on weight training or cardio? You need to define what fit means. That's a subjective term. Fit is a very, very vague term. So be careful with that. So I can't answer that question. That's very vague. You have lots of muscle. Are you sure? How are you measuring that? Are you doing body composition? Are you doing underwater weighing? Are you doing DEXA scans? How do you know how much muscle you have? What's your body fat percentage? Stuff like that. Need a little bit more. Need a little bit more sauce on that pasta, if you know what I'm saying. Carissa, you're the reason I stopped running and started focusing more on my food. I'm telling people, don't run. Stop running. 40 pounds down so far, but still 100 pounds to go. Thank you for being real with your facts. Thank you. If you're obese, let's touch upon that for a second. And I'm here to talk about anything. This is just kind of like state of the swole. Just kind of coming in here trying to drop some shit. I want to keep on doing that more with the content, keep on engaging with the comments. That's why I think it's really unique with this podcast. And one of the reasons why I do that, for those of you that might be just tuning in, there are some podcasts that go live and there are some podcasts that might go daily, but very few that go live actually engage. They'll stream live, which is convenient because people can watch it in the moment, but they don't engage with the audience. They don't engage with comments. And I feel like isn't that the point of going live? Isn't that the best part of it, that you can engage with people watching in the moment? Because otherwise, why would I just not record it and then just put it as an audio podcast? Just listen to it later. Why watch it live if your comments don't mean anything? I don't know. What do you think about that, Joe Rogan? Interact with your fan. No, I'm kidding. Different format. It's cool to listen to like an uninterrupted conversation too. I personally, because solo podcast is great to interact. That's my thing. You know what I'm talking about. You get it. You feel me. You feel? I think it's cool to hear what you got to say, especially in the moment. Maybe we'll do some more questions today. What do you think about combat sports like boxing as a part of strength training? As long as you're not getting jacked in the fucking head, up to you. Nothing wrong with combat sports, but if you're getting smashed in the head, you're going to have problems when you're older. So happy you're finally blowing up along with the Swole Avengers. About damn time. Got to be in the right place, but you also got to put the effort in. That's actually one thing that doesn't bother me, but I've noticed when someone says, oh man, I'm so glad to see you. Look at how you've blown up after the Brittany Dawn thing. I didn't blow up because of Brittany Dawn. Let me just be clear. I didn't blow up because of her. I took advantage of a situation and I was already there doing the same fucking shit. I was already in place. I had videos and content that allowed it to grow and just get more exposure. That's the only reason why everyone subscribed and stayed. You can have a viral video and get no subscribers because you don't produce content that people want to stick around for. That's what a subscriber means on YouTube. That's what an actual subscriber means. It means someone says, ooh, I like this video or I like this content. I want to be notified when there's new stuff because I like what this person is putting out. So that means a lot more than just, oh, I got a lot of views. No, the only reason I got subscribers is because people said, oh, they got exposed to my channel, my content, and they wanted to see more. Oh shit, I want to see where this goes. Oh, I want to see more of this type of stuff. So it's about being ready when it's your time. It's like being called in. You're on the bench. You're a third string quarterback. You get called in and you fucking have a great game. And then you're a starter from now on, changes your career. Just keep on doing what I'm doing every day. Consistency. So next time you don't feel like going to the gym, next time you feel like giving up or taking a day off, just think about the Daily Swole. Just think about it's every day, no matter what, whether it's here, whether it's in the private Facebook group, no matter if I'm traveling, you know, if it's like a private broadcast, sometimes when I'm traveling, I only go live in the private Facebook group and for Daily Swole Club members and stuff like that. So more context, just a reminder for those of you that like to follow the podcast. If you never want to miss a live stream, make sure that you check out the Daily Swole Club. That's a great way to support the podcast and help keep it ad free and to never miss a live stream, stuff like that. So highly recommend. And thank you everyone that does support the podcast while we're on the subject, but it's every day. Every day you got to be putting in some kind of effort, eating right, you know, doing yoga, meditating. It's just that consistency. It's just the consistency of doing something regularly and committing so much that it's not optional. The podcast is not optional. Whether or not it gets streamed on every single platform every day, that depends on the situation. And sometimes you have to adjust, but there is a podcast every day. There is audio and there is content on a daily basis. And that's what is important. That's like the message I want to get across fundamentally. This is getting done in this way, and then adjust along the way. It's not always going to be the same situation. Things are going to change, but it's important. It's important to be consistent over everything. Where to start in terms of fitness for a 53-year-old who is bulimic? If you have a strong support system, make sure you have a strong support system around you with family, friends, or support groups. And I would start practicing yoga and meditation. You need a lot of self-awareness. You need a lot of mindfulness as you go through so you make better decisions and you're doing things for the right reasons. That's my opinion, in addition to slowly progressing into a strength training protocol along with yoga and mobility. But I would recommend doing yoga and meditation to start. Lisette Cepeda, what do you think about CrossFit? Depends on what you're trying to do CrossFit for. It can be very high risk, and it's kind of like it depends on why you're doing it. I really need more context. What are you trying to accomplish with it? Is it convenient? Did you get a Groupon? Is it something that you always looked and wanted to do? Are you going to do it because you want to look a certain way? There are certain reasons that might be better to do it, and there's certain reasons why it would not be wise to do it. Thank you, Dottie. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tony under 20. How do you balance having a relationship and achieving your goals? I'm working hard on living a healthier lifestyle, but between work and my kid, my relationship isn't getting the same attention it did. Priorities. I don't have a kid, but I'm doing this all the time. I'm putting in effort with the podcast and everything all the time. So yeah, it's communicating. It's communicating with your person, whoever that is. And if they're not the right person, it might be hard to communicate with that person. It's communication. It's letting each other know what's important and working through the situation. It's priorities. That's why people don't get results in the gym, because either someone's pulling away from that priority or you're not putting it as much on a number one top of the scale as you should. Like, it takes your focus, and your relationship takes as much focus as your training. And if you want your relationship to excel, You got to give that the same priority that you do with your training. If you want your nutrition to excel, you got to put in extra effort. You want your fitness or your yoga to excel, you have to prioritize that. So it's like any other kind of prioritization. And it's communicating. And if you're not feeling right, a lot of relationships, and this is just from personal experience, and it makes sense. If you're not dealing with the real issues and you're not completely transparent, it's going to come out in other ways. So you get a lot of arguments, you get a lot of people getting misconstrued signals. So for me, for example, when I'm working on shit all night long and I'm putting tons of effort, I'm always thinking about this, or I'm working on something with Swolenormous or Swolenormous X or the podcast, whatever it is, that doesn't mean that I don't care about her. That doesn't mean that I don't care about, my other person. It does, just because I'm putting effort in here doesn't mean I don't care. This is something that I'm building for the future. So this is, me putting effort in. It's kind of like your love language. If you've read that book, it's like I'm putting effort in here because that is my way of preparing for the future. That's my way of building something that I'm going to be happy with. And if I'm a happy, fulfilled person, then I'm better for the other person. So if you're fulfilled and you're happy, then you can fill someone else's cup. If your cup is full, you can fill up other people's. If you have a full pitcher, you can pass it around. If you're broken and you're miserable, you're not going to be you're not even yourself. You can't be good for someone else. And most people try to give without making sure that they're taken care of first. So then they're just an empty shell and they're fucking miserable and they take it out on the other person and then things break down. And that's just one concept or framework. But it's, a lot of you probably have similar experiences with that. Do I get helped by YouTube Red downloads? Maybe a little bit. I don't pay too much attention to those analytics. I guess some people do. Yeah, I get helped. Helped, what does that mean? Like maybe a couple bucks here and there. I don't know how many people have YouTube Red. I don't know how many people have that. But there are analytics that show that. I don't know what they are. It's usually smaller. I don't think there's a lot of people that use YouTube Red. What were my highlights in this past year? I don't even know. Everything's great. Any goals that you crushed? Not really. Everything's good. Everything's good. Yes, but I have to think about that more. I haven't really thought through that. I don't do that whole, I don't have a vision board. I don't write down the 3 goals that I have and I'm aiming for those. I do, but I don't. Mine are more like ideals that I'm chasing. I'm still working through that. And I think that's completely okay to have goals that are developing. I know what I want, but the vision, or my vision for myself and for Swolenormous, for the podcast, is becoming more and more clear this past month or two. It's been a big month or two. It really has. This year has been game changing. The past 5-6 months has changed the entire script for what I want, my vision for the future and stuff. How are we liking? What's the review so far on the Papa Swolio cam? We're down with it? We're down with the pups? Papa Swolio cam? Yeah. Yeah. Don't look too fucking excited. Sheesh. Looks a little miserable. Does yoga help with adrenal fatigue if you're actually having adrenal fatigue? Yoga helps with psychological and physical. I don't know exactly, technically on a scientific level, if it will repair something like that, but it depends on how you're assessing that you have adrenal fatigue. Most people just use phrases and concepts and they're not really sure if they are, or they're just fucking tired. Most people are sleep deprived. Most people are literally not even just I haven't gotten sleep recently. Most people are literally legitimately sleep deprived. And if you're sleep deprived, you're going to have more hunger cravings, ghrelin increases, all these different aspects of being exhausted at night that will get you craving and overeating calories and craving sugary foods. Thank you, Julia. Top-notch content and interaction. Thank you. I don't watch any media regularly because I'm way too busy with actual life, but your content I keep making more time for. Thank you. Spank you very much. Papa Swolio's down with that. Papa Swolio says thank you too. Say thank you, Mama. Say thank you to Julia. Yes. Hey, Papa, have you done any random acts of kindness lately? What's your go-to compliment to encourage people? I don't keep a tally of random acts of kindness. So yes, but I I feel like talking about them doesn't make them kind. It makes them an ego booster. So if I mention what they were, I'm not just that sounds like an easy way out. Well, it's easier to say that, but if I say what they are, it's like I'm stroking my own ego. So yes. What's your go-to compliment to encourage people? I don't know. Depends on what they need. There's a difference. I find a lot of that's a good statement. I find that a lot of I think kindness is subjective. And I also think kindness can come from telling someone the fucking brutal truth, even if it's not a compliment. I try to tell people the truth, even if it's not necessarily on the surface seems like the nicest compliment. Telling people what they need to hear is an underestimated and undervalued, undervalued critique or undervalued like social currency in terms of if you're telling someone what can actually help them, you're not bullshitting them. And I find that not bullshitting people is far more important nowadays than telling them something that's going to, stroke their ego. I mean, if you lost 5 pounds, that's great. Congratulations. Keep crushing it. I mean, it's not going to get easier. Like, keep moving. So I'm not going to be rude to someone. If something good happened, I'm not going to be negative, but I'm also, if there's something truthful, like I want to give someone information that can help them, not something to fluff their pillow. So I really don't care sometimes if they get offended. I feel like helping someone is actually providing assistance for something that they need, not necessarily something that they think they want. What do I think of calisthenics? It's fine. What's the context? What do I think of it? It depends on what you want to do. If you want to get better at calisthenics, then calisthenics are great. Arthur, I've hit a plateau after losing 50 pounds. I've changed up my diet. My workouts are more HIIT and less cardio and getting a lot more rest. I can't seem to break the plateau. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, aside from knowing what you're actually doing, changed up your diet. Caloric deficit is not the only thing. You have to make sure you're eating the right foods. More HIIT training, lifting weights. You don't need to be doing tons of like HIIT and interval training. That could be a problem already because your body adapts to HIIT training well. Getting a lot more rest. How long have you been doing this for? It takes time. It takes months, if not years. So just if you haven't seen progress in a couple weeks doesn't mean you're not doing it right. People are fucked up. Could be sleep, could be... And when you get sleep, it's not just like, hey, I've been getting better sleep for a week or two. Sometimes it takes months or years to repair like massive sleep deprivation. Especially if you're like going from night shifts to regular shifts, you'll be fucked up. You could be fucked up for 10 years if you don't repair it properly. Like if you've been on an opposite like night graveyard shift for a while, nurses and people out there, security, just if you've been doing it for 10 years, just all of a sudden your schedule's regular, you're fucked up still for years. Do you think sleep aids affect recovery? What do you mean? Like sleeping pills? You don't want to take any of that shit. If anything, if it's like marijuana or CBD might be something that would be more natural and less addictive. You don't want to take sleeping pills and stuff. And a lot of times those kind of sleeping aids might get you to sleep quicker, but they don't allow you to get as deep into a sleep, repaired, restorative sleep. Adam, how do you feel meditation affects your interactions with loved ones or people in general? When I say stupid shit or I fly off the handle too quick or I have a short, fuse, I catch myself and I'm aware of it right away. When I'm irrational or I snap at something or I have like a short like temper with something, I notice it like immediately. I notice it as it's happening. You just notice things faster. It doesn't change you necessarily right away. It takes time. But you start noticing all your feelings and you notice your responses and you notice why you had that response and you notice how fleeting and how bullshit sometimes like our reactions are and how they don't mean anything. You start catching shit faster. You start checking yourself more. It helps you become more, it helps like minimize your ego more. So then you're able to catch yourself faster. You're able to apologize and for, taking responsibility quicker because you notice it. You're like, oh, that's completely my fault. Why did I respond like that? Why didn't I think through that or wait to respond or, pause? You're just more aware of like when you have emotions arise and you allow them. Sometimes like if you respond too quick, you're going to answer something maybe angrily or frustrated. But then if you pause and wait, and that thought comes over and just kind of like dissipates because you're aware of like where these thoughts come from and how to kind of like ignore shit and like pass things off that aren't important and let like an emotion or feeling pass just fleeting, then you're able to let it go and then handle the situation fine, more even keel. So you catch things faster and then you just get better and better and better. Then eventually, hopefully, you don't have those initial reactions to begin with because you're just programmed, but it's practice. You're welcome, dude. Go to the gym. Get to the gym. Thanks, Ron Poe. Appreciate it, dude. Happy 36, Papa Swole. Thanks, dude. Thank you, thank you. Riv Rocks. Oh, the sleeping thing, it's not for me, it's my mother. She hasn't technically admitted to it, but I want to help her get in shape and just be healthier overall. You know. Is that what you were talking about? Was that the same conversation? Yeah, you got to lead by example. That's a tough one. Yes, you have to fill your cup before you can pour into others. Preach it, Papa. Preaching from the mountaintops. Preaching from the mountaintops. J Dragon 71-6. How do you work with a pulled ligament in the bottom of your foot? Oh, my mom's calling me for my birthday. I'm going to have to call you back, Mama. Sorry. Podcast time. How do you work with a pulled ligament? Do you know if it's a pulled ligament, or do you know if it's a strained muscle? How do you know it's a ligament? You need to rest it. Depends on what the source is and what the cause is. Maybe something like a tennis ball and foam rolling, or a massage, or like, that kind of like trigger point, like stepping on a tennis ball, maybe rolling on a frozen bottle of water for icing it. Depends on what the issue is. You don't want to cause more inflammation. The reason why I'm asking, I'm not saying you don't have a pulled ligament, but you don't really pull a ligament. Ligaments aren't, if you have a ligament injury, that's a sprain. A ligament injury is a sprain. A ligament injury is a sprain. So you have a tear, or you have damage to that. So that's going to be from a ligament. Tendons are usually going to be like ruptures or things like muscle strains and things like that, muscular related. Ligaments attach the bones to the bone. So if you have a ligament injury, you're like sprained something in your foot. That's bad. You're like having probably usually massive inflammation. So maybe that's not the right word. Just putting that out there. Doesn't mean it's incorrect. We loving the Papa Swolio cam. People loving it. What do you think of artificially made fruits like cotton candy grapes? Sounds gross. Cotton candy grapes. I had a gym brony at the gym at GNC trying to sell me a product saying I'll be able to burn more fat with it. Fuck that. Jabronis. I listen to the podcast every day while I'm at my desk, so at least my brain is making some gains. That's right. Shut your fucking mouth. That's the best compliment. Hey, what's up? Congratulations. Good job on that weight loss. Hey, keep that mouth closed. That's right. Don't eat, motherfucker. Just giving people eating disorders. Anorexia for the win. You want to lose weight? Don't stop eating. It sounds cruel. It's like, oh my God, you're telling people to stop eating, Papa Swolio? Well, a lot of people that are obese need to stop fucking eating. Doesn't mean that that's going to stop them from eating. Telling someone to stop eating is like the same thing as, I don't know, hey, stop being addicted to alcohol. Okay. Doesn't work. So that's why if you get offended by me saying that, shut your mouth. It's all right. I don't think anyone's under the illusion that it's going to do anything. People that are obese, shut your fucking mouth. It might help. It might shock someone. Chances are it'll help someone. It'll help someone, like at least a couple people, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Just information or words isn't enough to get someone to make like actionable change. It's not quite enough. I don't use melatonin as a sleep aid. I've heard some things that are okay about it. I've heard some things like, you don't want to mess with that. So maybe to like reset a sleep cycle. I'm not an expert on like resetting sleep cycles, but there could be a purpose for it. Maybe if you have like that awkward shift late at night, maybe you're changing your sleep schedule from a night shift to a morning shift. I've never personally used it, so I'm going to avoid that. But I've heard some people use it like in a good way. I've heard some people refer to it in a good way. Some people say, oh, don't fuck with that. Anything that's going to artificially, blah, blah, blah. Plantar fasciitis. You can start with, you can Google this too. You can do alphabets. You can like, before you stand up out of bed in the morning, you can do alphabets, big capital letters with your feet, warm up the arches of your feet. You might need therapy, but also yoga and stuff can help once the inflammation goes down. Snake diet guy. I don't know who the snake diet guy tells people to stop eating. I don't know what that is. I hear about it, but I just don't care. I don't care about, he tells people to stop eating. Anything called the snake diet sounds pretty stupid. Sounds like a made up thing to sell things. Sounds like it's working too if people know about it. Try lemon balm. Well, I mean, if you're trying to aid yourself sleep, essential oils, meditation, yoga at night. Meditation's great pre-sleep, pre-bed. I think you want to be careful getting cortisone shots. Don't cortisone shots break down the cartilage or break down the connective tissue over time? I'd be very careful. You usually don't need cortisone shots. You need to change fundamentally, like your footwear. Footwear in this country is really bad for shin splints. It's really bad for plantar fasciitis. Most people don't exercise, have movement compensations. They use supported shoes and stuff that weaken the feet. A lot of bad things. So this year, and I've been talking about it for the last few days on the podcast about focusing on mobility and yoga. And yesterday I posted on Instagram and Facebook, literally just a straight raw video filmed inside the app. And I was like, you guys need to fucking start doing yoga. If you're not doing yoga already, I'm telling you people, how many of you are practicing yoga regularly? I could not stress it enough. You need to start practicing yoga. You need to start. You need to fucking start. How many times have I been saying this on the podcast? How many times? And I will continue to do so. And I always say I will continue to do so because I will continue to do so. But you need to get started. You can't be waiting to start yoga anymore. You got to up the frequency. I encourage everyone because I'm upping the frequency and I did it this past week. I'm gonna probably be doing it 5 to 6 days a week, if not 7. I'm gonna try to be as consistent as possible, probably 5 to 6 days a week just because of their schedule and my schedule. And, one day for doing the sauna, one more day for doing foam rolling and other types of active recovery. But fucking yoga, absolute game changer. The number one thing aside from lifting weights that's made the biggest impact in my life, fundamentally, lifting weights and yoga will change your fucking life. Will no doubt, no question about it, change your life. I don't say that lightly. That's a big statement. That's a big statement that it will change your life, but it fucking will. It will absolutely change your life. Absolutely change your life. I swear you will love it. You will never go back. You'll have regrets. You will have regrets that shit, I should have started this 20 years ago. Man, if I had this when I was 25, I wouldn't be in have back pain all the time. It's those things that we don't realize. You have to check yourself, fix yourself before you have problems. Address this issue before it becomes an issue. Get to it early. Get to it now. How many of you are upping? Let's do this together. I want everyone to up their yoga game. Those of you that are Swolenormous X members, you have no excuse because you have those fucking yoga classes. You have the yoga studio and more coming this week. More brain gains also for those of you that are in Swolenormous X. Oh, those of you that are in Swole X, how do you like the new brain gains section, the meditation section in your dashboard? Like there's more of those coming this week too, starting to fill out that section. Like this is the kind of stuff that I produce and I provide for members because this is literally my approach. This is what I'm doing. I provide as much information as I can here and inside Swolenormous X in order to give you the opportunity to feel what I feel and to experience what I experience and to execute things the way that I have found amazing success with clients, with members, and with myself personally. Extremely important. Just the game changing approach when you focus and you switch your all right, you want to talk about politics or social issues? Let's use this in context with the shootings that have been going on. People are fucked up in the head. People are eating fucked up food. They're on fucked up medication because of their fucked up food and all these environmental factors. And they're fucking snapping. It's not the guns that are killing people. It's the people that are using the fucking guns. You can make all kinds of arguments. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not getting this into a fucking gun control argument. But as much as there are people that use these guns for harm, there are many, 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 many millions of more that have guns that don't do anything bad with them. So what the fuck is going on? Fucked up food, fucked up medication. It's fundamental mental health. You might not be psychotic, but we all have like that psychotic part of our brain. In other words, like that twisted part that needs to get unraveled. We have that stress. And we can't let that stress build up. When that stress builds up and it snaps, it comes out in fucking crazy ass fucking ways. So think about that. Like we all have that low level, like anxiety and that low level of stress and too much stuff we see on our screens and computers and TV. And we need to manage that. Yoga helps. Meditation helps. It helps. If you understand who you are more and you understand why you're doing shit and you care less about what other people think, you do you and you don't let things stress you out. If someone insults you, but you know why you're doing it, like if someone tells me, look, I get this all the time and I joke about it, I kind of like shoot back. But when someone's like, why the fuck are you not wearing a shirt? Why do you always talk about nuts on chin? I'm unsubscribing. Okay, then go unsubscribe. I don't give a fuck. Go watch go watch something else. But I'm secure and I know with what I'm doing, I know my delivery, I know my intent, and my audience, all of you know my intent. So it's fine. Go fucking watch something else. Go do something else. Totally fine. There are many other people and many other accounts and podcasts and things you can follow and listen to. So I'm okay with what I do. I'm fine with this. You can't insult what I do. You can't insult my hair, my beard, my toplessness. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'm pinching my nips right now. You don't like it? Fucking leave. That's it. So yeah, you have to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And because I know why I'm doing it and I'm secure with it, it doesn't matter what you say. So I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. Enough people like this, including myself, to keep on doing it as is. I have no reason to change. So if you know what you're doing and why you do what you do, people's opinions don't matter. That's just how I look at it. The far and few between that don't like my content, fine. You are under no obligation to like my shit. You are under no obligation to like the content that I make. You don't have to like it. And it's a free country. You can leave a negative comment. You can leave a thumbs down, but you could also leave a positive comment and leave a thumbs up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's all good. It's going to work itself out. It's going to work itself out straight up. Thank you, Tariana. I appreciate it. Cool name. Tariana Villanueva. Fucking name. Dude, these names. The names on YouTube are insane. You guys have amazing fucking names. You have amazing names. The Papa Cam, the Papa Swole Cam. So if you understand why you're doing it, like when someone makes fun of you, how many of you get criticized for nutrition at work? How many of you get criticized, and you can drop that in the comments, how many of you get criticized for bringing your own food to work or to a family occasion? Either you let that affect you and you listen to them, you're like, okay, fine, I'll eat this, or oh, fine, or you fight about it, or you just like, you let it wash over you and say, well, I'm bringing my food. Like if you don't like it, then don't like it. They'll get tired of making fun of you. They'll get tired of chiding you for it. They'll get tired of giving you a hard time, and they'll just eventually accept it if you just ignore it. If you internalize it and you make it a thing like it really bothers you, come on, that's why people tease you. When people leave negative comments, they want to get a response from you. It's high school. It's childish shit. Same thing with politics. People are trying to get a rise out of the other person. People are trying to get a rise. They want to get a response when they leave something negative, or they make fun of you at work for bringing your food in a Tupperware, or at a family gathering or a barbecue and you brought your own shit. Oh, you brought your own shit. Oh, Mr. fucking fitness person. Oh, Mr. bodybuilder. Oh, Mr. Olympia's coming. Hey, look, blah, blah. It's not as good. Wouldn't you want to have this burger though? Oh, people just want, they fuck with you. People fuck with you. Okay. So if you let that bother you, then it's going to be a problem. Well, guess what happens? If you do the same shit, but you don't care what other people think, nothing fucking happens. And they're going to get tired of it. And they're going to leave you alone, and you're going to get yours, which is most important. You get yours, boom, done, end of story. Get your shit. Luckily, I have a lot of people at work that are into fitness. Awesome. That's great. Then you have a better support system and a better support environment. Brandy, I get more criticized for how often I eat. I graze eat. But you do, if you're getting results and you're doing what's right for you, that's fine. Again, if it works for you and you're fine with it and you're secure with what you're doing, who you are, what you're doing, what your approach is, and it's working, if it's working, you don't give a shit. Someone's like, oh, you don't like it? Fuck you. I'm getting my abs, or I'm losing my fat, or I'm feeling better. That's absolutely correct. Verloren. I get criticized at work all the time. My friends and family are used to it and respect my choices, but my colleagues and strangers are the worst. I wished they'd mind their own business. Okay, well, if they don't, you can They can go fuck themselves, and you're just going to keep on doing you, and eventually people are just going to get over it. They'll get over it. People projecting their insecurities onto you, it's them, not you, for sure. Zach, the laycock returns. Happens all the time at work. Oh, come on, you can have one. No thanks, you can keep your diabetes. They say I'm obsessed with fitness. Maisha. Tawny, I grew up with my family calling me fatso because I love food. I was 115 pounds in high school. Now I don't give a fuck what people think because I was skinny thinking I'm fat. Huh. They always leave out my favorite candies. Everyone at work always asks if my salad counts as a meal. And let me tell you, it's a big salad, and they ask if I'm a rabbit. Well, because you're not stuffing your face with Taco Bell. Spicy Spice, I used to work at a medical facility, and we all had to eat in the snack room where there were bullshit-ass snacks. I hated hearing my coworkers telling people they need to get healthy while eating shit. Do you guys see the pattern here? Everyone deals with the same shit. And this really helps. Having the podcast and having this kind of community here on the Daily Swole, like you're seeing everyone's dealing with the same shit. So the next time someone gives you shit at work, just picture this episode and the fucking 30 people that are like, yeah, I get shit all the time. And just think about everyone else that's in the same boat as you getting shit and just fucking ignore it. It's not, I think it's when you're in a bubble and you're the only one that's eating healthy and you think it's you and you're the problem. And then you realize, oh shit, everyone else is dealing with the same thing. It's not fit shaming. It's just people that are trying to, or seeing the reflection of their lack of action and their insecurities. And they're projecting and they're responding in that way. So the next time you feel bummed out and someone's giving you a hard time, just remember, everyone's getting that. Everyone's getting it. You're not the only one. People are fucking insecure assholes all over the world. It's not just here. It's just more prevalent because everyone's fat. Everyone's got a gut. You look anywhere. Go to any store when you're out this weekend or this week and you go out to dinner or you go out to the supermarket, you go out to the gym. Everyone's got a gut. Why does everyone have a stomach? Everyone's fat. Everyone's obese. Everyone's overweight. 2/3 of the country. 2/3 of the country are overweight, obese, and or are pre-diabetic or have full-blown type 2 diabetes. 2/3. 2/3. 2 out of 3 people are overweight. Oh, well, how are you defining overweight? Everyone's overweight. Man, you're a fat shamer. No, you have a gut shamer. You have a gut. I'm speaking facts. You have a gut. You have extra fat. You look pregnant. Why do you look pregnant? You're a man. Why do you look pregnant as a woman when you ain't pregnant? Why? Too much food, not enough exercise, too much stress, not enough hydration, not enough sleep. And yeah, there are a lot of issues. There's a huge gap between, we have to work harder for less money. It's harder to get a house. It's harder to get loans. It's harder. There's a lot of issues with the economics in this country, and I'm not educated enough or skilled enough to know the solution or to even speak upon all of them. But yeah, you can't get away on one job anymore. You might need 2 jobs, and you might need, especially if you got a family, it's not easy. However, it's like the facts are the facts. You still got to prioritize it and do the best you can. Otherwise what? Either complain or do something about it. So you have 2 options. And most people complain and they act like it's not their fault and that it's not their responsibility, but it's all of our responsibilities, especially the individual. You're the only one that can make a difference. You're the only one that can change your inner life. So if you're always looking at Instagram and Facebook and you're always looking at the news and you're always internalizing these external sources, it's like, shit, you can't control that fucking shit. It's the news. You can't control what goes on in Afghanistan. You can't control what goes on in fucking Syria. Like you're in the United States and you're going to your job, you're going to the gym. Who gives a shit what's going on? Like you don't have time to give a shit. You have to focus on your life. What are you going to read every article in the news and worry about global fucking international politics? It's insane. There's too much information. There's too much shit that's out of your control, but the news and social media and stuff just tries to get you to worry about it. It's not worth it. You can't worry about it because you can't do anything about it. So we can just get all the negative aspects of it, just stress yourself out and get nothing done. You have stuff in your life that you can take action with and make a change. You don't have to distract yourself with that kind of bullshit. So I think that explains it enough. And I think that kind of gets my point across for this episode. So we'll end on that note. But thank you for all the birthday wishes, everyone. For those of you that are part of Swolenormous X and are members of the Daily Swole Club, Thank you so much. I will be going live for a couple minutes to say thank you for all the birthday wishes in the private Facebook group. So if you want to join, you want to hook up into the private Swolenormous fam, you can go to swolenormousx.com, click on the Daily Swole Club, check out memberships. We'd love to have you. But thank you for everyone that does support the podcast. Even if you're not supporting financially or you're part of a member, you're part of the community. So even just subscribing here, dropping a comment, watching, listening, downloading a podcast, it means the world to me. So thank you so much for making today an awesome day, to making today an awesome episode. And I hope that all the ones after this, including today, are as awesome and that you enjoy and stick around and stay subscribed to the Daily Swole podcast channel on YouTube and here and Apple and fucking wherever you follow. So thank you for being here. And of course, we'll be here tomorrow for 1189. Business as fucking usual. The Daily, the Papa Swolio cam, the Papa Swolio cam. You have the Papa Swolio cam and then you have the Papa Swolio. Hey, mama, we're almost done. We're almost done with the podcast. You excited? I'll give you belly rubs in a second, okay? You like the head scratch. Yeah, you do. You do. Cutie pie. So we'll be here tomorrow. And of course, Papa will be here tomorrow as well. So thank you everyone for joining me for episode 1188 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. And I'll see you tomorrow for 1189 of the Daily Sleaze. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.